I'm going to say it. It might be a little controversial, but I'm going to say it. I don't think buying a house is all it's cracked up to be.
So I made another video on here that we have to pay $16,000 to get our whole house rewired.
We found out today that we need a completely new roof on a section of our house because apparently the prior homeowner had it roofed with just the wrong type of shingle.
So, a topic I've been seeing a lot on TikTok lately has been people who regret buying their homes. While traditional advice has been to buy a home, it actually comes with a lot of issues you may not have thought about. Everything from mortgages, bad realtors, natural disasters, issues with the HOA. It can suck to own a home. Most people get into homeownership to start building wealth, but in the short term, it can absolutely destroy your budget. We have a bunch of different topics to cover today. If you have any opinions on homeownership, leave them in the comments down below. As the channel has been growing, it's been great getting comments from you guys. They help out the channel a lot.
Transparency post. I regret buying a house.
Guys, when we bought this house, I don't think we realized how much financial undertaking it would take.
I'm going to say it. It might be a little controversial, but I'm going to say it. I don't think buying a house is all it's cracked up to be.
If I wanted, I could sit here all day and show you a compilation of reels like that. People have no idea what they're getting into when they're buying a home. They think it'll be like having an apartment, but no one can tell you what to do. The issue is that it takes way more money, time, and effort. I love renting. My landlord just had to pay $15,000 for an all-new AC system and rewiring, and I'm just thankful it wasn't me who had to pay for it. I get it. The American dream is about owning a home with a white picket fence and 2.5 children. The issue is that we're living in a time period where that is not as easy as it once was. There are definite advantages to renting that should not be overlooked. One of the biggest ones is not having unexpected expenses. If something breaks and you're living paycheck to paycheck, how are you going to afford to fix it? I also don't get the whole thing between owning and renting. Like, you really don't own the home. You're paying rent to the bank for 30 plus years, and you have to pay for literally everything that goes wrong too. I don't get it. When you first buy a home, you get to pretend that you do own it. The reality is the bank owns it. Yes, no landlord is going to bother you, but miss a few mortgage payments and see who starts calling. I like your 2 cents. OMG. If I had known the things I know now, I wouldn't have bought this house. I have 2 special needs kids, and this house is not it. Having a special needs child could make owning a home even more stressful. My problem with being a homeowner is that every little problem is our responsibility. Hate it. I don't want to have to fix insulation problems and plumbing issues. Give me back to the landlords. Yeah, you have to be either really handy or have a lot of cash to spend. Home repairs can add up to be a lot, and they usually come at the worst possible time. Well, when you sell, you get a lot of the money back to use on your next house, versus rent, you don't get any of it back. Constantly buying a bigger, newer home is what's going to keep you poor, though. I am pro renting. I don't know that I'll ever buy a home unless I come into a lot of money. I love calling my landlord about whatever is broken, and then he comes the same day to fix it without any cost to me. You aren't the only one. A couple in my family actually sold their home because they have no desire to own a home anymore. They live in an apartment with their daughter, and they are so much happier. The other thing is that housing prices have got so expensive in certain cities that it is actually cheaper in all ways to rent. When I lived in Austin, Texas, a few years ago, that's how it was there.
Hey, for my people out there that already bought a house, congrats. But I'm letting you know, prepare yourself and don't be house poor, man. Do not furnish that house until you got the funds available, man.
That's a great point. When you're starting out, all you really need is a bed. Don't be tempted to spend an additional $10,000 or $20,000 on finance furniture if you can help it.
If you want to regret buying a house and wish that you never did, be house poor.
This is a trap that a lot of people fall into. They see a house they really can't afford, and they trick themselves into thinking they can afford it. Then they don't have any money to live their life at all, or for repairs when they inevitably come up.
Everybody want to flex. I got approved for this much. I got $500,000 home. I got the keys. Okay, that's cool. Now let's run the numbers. Your pre-approval was $500,000. That is not a recommendation, baby. That is a limit.
It doesn't make sense to take the maximum that they'll give you.
Did you guys hear about this? 86% of millennials who are selling their homes that bought their homes in the pandemic regret ever purchasing that home in the first place. That time period is going to be a case study for decades. Rates were at the lowest that they've ever been, with 2.5% to 3% interest rate. And everyone was moving to the countryside because they could finally work remote. And now the landscape of real estate has completely shifted with interest rates hovering around 7% and employers are rolling back their remote work policy. As a mortgage lender during that time, I can tell you this, it was not healthy the amount of home buyers that felt so much pressure to put in an offer on a home that they never got to see the inside of. None of this comes as a shock to me whatsoever. As frustrating as it's been with these higher interest rates around 6 to 7%, it's honestly been a healthy dose of a good market.
This is a huge issue that people don't think about when they're buying their first home. What happens if you have to move? What if you don't like where you live? What happens if your neighbors suck? When you buy a home, you're essentially gambling that you're going to be able to tolerate that place for at least 5 years. If you don't plan on living in a home for at least 30 years, I personally would not recommend you buy one. I've lived all over the country and all over the world. I never would have had these experiences if I would have bought a home right away. I'm just saying it's not all it's cracked up to be.
Okay, this is a showing that I recently had. This guy is the realtor. He got here before the buyer starts looking around. Opens up the cabinets. I thought at first, just seeing how deep the cabinets were, but he starts kind of snooping around a little bit of a red flag, but thought we were in the clear after he closed the cabinet. But he opens it back up.
Submitted an offer yesterday on a house that has been on the market for 130 plus days. The agent finally responds like 12 hours later. Thanks, received the offer. I'll definitely review it along with the other offers we've received.
So this is another hidden issue you can have when you're buying a home. What if you get a bad realtor? Becoming a realtor is not difficult. You just need to pass a test that you can study for over a weekend. After that, you're in. A majority of realtors don't even make it in 5 years into their career. If you've ever heard of the 80-20 rule, it's in full effect for realtors. 20% of the realtors get 80% of the business. So you might get someone who's acting like they're an expert at being a realtor when in reality they're brand new. The worst part is you might not even realize they suck until it's too late. Then you're out a bunch of money due to their incompetence.
Whoever said buying a house was worth it and fun, they lied. They literally lied because it sucks. So I made another video on here that we have to pay $16,000 to get our whole house rewired. So we had our inspection, and in the inspection, like nothing came up that everything was wired to like 1 or 2 breakers and whatever. So we're paying to get the electrical stuff done. We're paying the $16,000. It sucks, whatever. It will get fixed. It will get done. Great. So here I'm like, great, one huge expense, we'll get it done, it'll be great, then we'll move in and everything will be all fantastic, right? No, because why would that work? We bought a fridge, right? Because the house came with no fridge, so we had to buy a fridge. Water doesn't work on the fridge. Gonna take us another 2 weeks to get a new fridge. Great, love that. This morning, because we stayed in the house for the first time yesterday, on an air mattress because we don't have furniture yet. This morning, my husband goes to take a shower, basement leaks. Not even leaks, basement floods a little bit. So now we discovered that every time the shower runs, the basement starts to leak through the floor.
So let's take a second to recap what this woman is experiencing. She just bought a home. She has no furniture. She has to spend $16,000 to rewire her home. She has to get a new fridge because hers isn't compatible for whatever reason. Then she realized every time she takes a shower, her basement is flooding. Can you imagine how aggravating that would be? Imagine you saved for years to get 20% down on a home. That could be $40,000 to $60,000 depending on the price of the house. You're essentially house poor now. You get into the house and realize you're going to have to spend at least $20,000 more just to make the house livable. You only have a few options at that point, and none of them are great. You either go deeper into debt or get another job.
Why were boomers such bad homeowners? The longer I live in my house, the more ways I find that the previous homeowners just ruined it, or at least nearly ruined it. Luckily, we're finding some of these problems in time to fix them before there's permanent structural damage, but oh my god, it is expensive and stressful. We found out today that we need a completely new roof on a section of our house, because apparently the prior homeowner had it roofed with just the wrong type of shingle. I learned today that when you're roofing something, you need to pick the correct type of shingle for the roofing condition based on the pitch and all of that, otherwise it's just going to be way more likely to leak. Which, guess why we had a roofer out here to begin with. We've got a leak. And they told us we need the roof completely ripped off and totally redone, ideally before any more massive storms roll in. So that's great.
Let's go to the comment section to see what people are saying. I think it has to do with them fixing everything themselves, while also not having the resources to know how to fix things themselves. Sadly, it's not just boomers. The two prior owners of my house were in their 30s and didn't even change the HVAC filter regularly. I have a feeling there are people in every generation who half-ass doing maintenance to their home. People have been house poor across multiple generations. It's only logical to assume that the previous owners of a house probably always didn't have the money to do the best fix possible. You better hope that the inspection you do on your home catches everything before you buy it. If not, it could be an expensive experience.
Out handling grown folk business with these property taxes. As a homeowner, handle your business, because guess what? These people trying to say our house is way, way, way more worth than what it is. So we're about to go appeal it.
That's another way you end up paying more. You think your home is worth X amount of dollars, and then years later, your county's fiscal officer sends you a letter saying that your property taxes has increased. Then you have to start paying them more money, and they literally do nothing extra for you. I paid cash for my home 2 years ago in Cocoa Beach, and I still have to pay taxes every year, which makes no sense. You never own anything. They have everyone thinking you own your homes, but really you don't. Property taxes are their way of rent. If you don't pay it, they'll kick you out and put that said property on the market for someone who will. Owning a house is a scam. In a way, it is a form of government rent, and rent's due every year. The appeal doesn't do much. You may get a little off, but next year it's the same thing. Here's another way that buying a home sucks that you probably haven't thought about.
If I knew what I knew now, and I could go back in time to when I first bought my house, I would do everything I could to not have an escrow account. Okay, that is the biggest pain in my ass.
So essentially, an escrow account is a special bank account that's attached to your mortgage. When you pay your mortgage every month, you're paying the interest and principal on your loan, but you're also paying mortgage insurance and taxes. Your money for insurance and taxes is kept in this account all year. At the end of the year, the money from your escrow account is supposed to pay all the insurance and taxes. At the end of the year, the money from your escrow account is supposed to pay all the mortgage insurance. However, a lot of the times, the company won't automatically do this for you. So you have to play phone tag to get them to pay bills with your money. Frustrating.
Guys, see this? This is my house right here. Check it out. Who owns this? I don't own it. Shell Point Mortgage owns this house.
And that's exactly the problem. You go through all this money, time, and aggravation, and you're not even the true owner. Once it's paid off, you still have to pay your property taxes, rent to keep living there. And even when you pay it off, it still isn't yours. It's the county's. My air conditioner broke in my apartment. Got a whole new unit the next day for free. Owning a home is only for the wealthy. Now, I'd be lying to you if I didn't say there were some benefits to owning a home. If there weren't, no one would do it. If you have all the money required, it can be a good investment. My whole angle to owning a home is that you should do it as a business. Instead of owning a single family home, buy a multifamily. By doing that, you live in one unit. You then rent out the other unit or units. Then your tenant pays the mortgage for you. This is called house hacking. It's a way better option than just buying a single family home. There's a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad, who was written by Robert Kiyosaki. In that book, he calls a single family home a liability and not an asset, and for good reasons. When you own a single family home, you're responsible for everything. You pay the mortgage, insurance, taxes, repairs, maintenance. When you own a fourplex, you have 3 potential tenants who are all going to pay that for you. That means all you have to do is usually spend money on little things like a repair here and there. This process is then repeatable. You start with one home, and then as you build, you get more and more homes until you have a portfolio.
Holy shit, guys, you gotta see this. My neighbor's pissed off at people speeding, so he went and made his own speed bumps. Look, they're taller than the curve, and there's 4 of them.
Okay, this is a terrible idea, but we haven't even touched on the issue of having bad neighbors yet. Imagine you've been living in your single-family home you've had for a while now. Every night, your neighbor speeds down the street with illegal pipes, causing a bunch of noise. Now he's also putting your kids at risk. What do? You could try calling the cops, but if you're in the wrong jurisdiction or they're too busy, they're not going to come. So then you come up with this harebrained scheme you just saw. If you've ever seen the show Malcolm in the Middle, they actually did a skit exactly on this. The dad in the show is angry that someone is speeding down his street. So he makes a speed bump exactly like that, and then the speeder just flies off it like it's a ramp. All right, that concludes today's video. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. YouTube wants you to watch this video that's on my screen currently. If you do like the video, it would mean a lot to me if you could hit the like button for the YouTube algorithm. And if nothing else, I will see you in the next one.